6th grade, Module 2, Lesson 14, Classwork. Opening exercise. Divide 1/2 divided by 1/10. Use a tape diagram to support your reasoning. So the question is essentially asking saying 1/2 is 1/10 of one number. So 1/2 is 1/10 of what number? So let's draw a tape diagram. And we don't know the whole, but we do know that 1/2 is 1/10 of it. So let's split it into tenths. And we know 1/2 is 1/10 of it. So this is 1/10 of the whole. So then all of them would be 1/2. We can basically do 1/2 times 10, and when we add all of those up, or multiply them, we'll get 5. So now it wants us to relate the model to the invert and multiply rule. So what we basically ended up with was 1/2 times 10, and the invert and multiply rule, so if we have 1/2 divided by 1/10, it changes into 1/2 times, we invert it, the second number, 10 over 1, which is what we ended up doing, 1/2 times 10, and we get 5. We get 10 over 2, which is equal to 5. Example 1. Evaluate the expression. Use a tape diagram to support your answer. 5/10 divided by 1/10. So what we have is 5/10 is a part of the whole. So let's go ahead and take it and divide it into 1/10 because it says it's divided into 1/10. So I'm going to separate this into 10 equal pieces. And 5/10 is one part of that. So 1 unit is equal to 5/10. So if we had 10 units, we would have, so they are all of these are 5/10. So you can either do 5/10 and add it 10 times, or you can do 10 times 5/10. And 10 times 5/10 would be equal to 5. Rewrite 0 and 5/10 divided by 0 and 1/10 as a fraction. So we're just going to write it as a fraction. 5/10 divided by 1/10. Express the divisor as a whole number. So remember, the divisor is the second number that we're dividing by. So this one, that's the divisor. So we have 5/10 divided by 1/10, and we want the divisor to be a whole number. So in order to make this a whole number, we need to move the decimal point one place, which is just multiplying by 10. So if we multiply by 10 over 10, 5/10 times 10 would be 5. 1/10 times 10 would be 1. We get 5 over 1, or 5 divided by 1, which is equal to 5. So notice how that made it a lot easier to get our answer, which is also what we got up there. Exercises 1 through 3. Convert the decimal division expressions to fractional division expressions in order to create whole number divisors. So we're just doing what we did above. We're going to be creating whole number divisors so that it's easier to do the division problem. You do not need to find the quotients. Explain the movement of the decimal point. The first exercise has been completed for us. So first step, we're just getting whole number divisors. We don't have to solve. Okay, so 14 and 4/100 divided by 4 and 68/100. So we need to make the divisor here, 4 and 68/100. We need to make that into a whole number. So in order to do that, we need to move the decimal point 2 places, which means that we would be multiplying by 100. And what we do to the divisor, we need to do to the dividend. So we would get 468. And if we move this 2 places, we would have 1,404. So our new division problem would be 1,404 divided by 468. So what we did, we need to explain what we did. We multiplied the dividend and divisor by 100, or 2 powers of 10, or up here we multiplied by 1 power of 10, because it's just 10. 100 is 2 powers of 10, so each decimal point moved 2 places to the right. So let's write all that out. So I multiplied both the dividend and divisor by 100, and I'm just using this example kind of like a template that they gave us. I'm just going to insert what we did for this problem. So whenever someone gives you an example, use that to your advantage. So we multiplied by 100, or by 2 powers of 10. So each decimal point moved 2 places to the right because they grew larger by 100. Okay. Number 3. We have 162 thousandths divided by 36 thousandths. So 162 thousandths divided by 36 thousandths. So in order to get the divisor to be a whole number, we need to move it 1, 2, 3 places, which is 3 powers of 10, or 1,000. So if we multiply 36 thousandths times 1,000, we'll get 36. And if we multiply 162 thousandths by 1,000, we move it 3 places, we get 162. So our problem is 162 divided by 36. So now I'm just going to kind of copy what we had said earlier. Same type of template. So let's say I multiplied both the dividend and divisor by 1,000, or 3 powers of 10. So each decimal point moved 3 places to the right because they grew larger by, you could say, 3 powers of 10, or by 1,000. Okay, example 2. Now we're going to actually evaluate the expression. So we're moving on. We don't have to write those long explanations anymore, but we do have to actually solve the problems. So it says, evaluate the expression. First, convert the decimal division expression to a fractional division expression in order to create a whole number divisor. So we're just doing what we did above. So 25 and 2/10 divided by 72 hundredths. So I need to make the divisor a whole number, which means I need to move 2 powers of 10, or 100. What I do to the divisor, I also have to do to the dividend. So we would have 72, and if I move this 2 places, need to put a 0 there, I'd have 2,520. So we have 2,520 divided by 72. Use the division algorithm to find the quotient. So 2,520 divided by 72. So 72 can't go into 2 or 25. It could go into 252, probably twice. Oh, sorry, I was thinking 150. It can go in more times. So 144 can probably go in another time, maybe 2 more times. 216, so it could only go in 3 times, and we get 216. Need to borrow. 12 minus 6 is 6. 4 minus 1 is 3. Bring down the 0. So 72 can go into 360. Let's try 5 times. Because I know times 3 was 216, so it can go in at least 4, maybe 5. 5 times 2 is 10. Carry the 1. 5 times 7 is 35, plus 1 is 36. So 360. That goes in 5 times. No remainder, so our quotient is 35. So what we get is 25 and 2/10 divided by 72 hundredths is equal to 35. Exercises 4 through 7. Convert the decimal division expressions to fraction division expressions in order to create whole number divisors. Compute the quotients using the division algorithm. Check your work with a calculator. So we're just putting it all together now. So 2,000 divided by 3 and 2/10. So I need to move the decimal point 1 place, 1 power of 10. So I'm multiplying by 10. And I'll get 20,000 divided by 32. Let's go ahead and solve that problem. So it can't go into 2 or 20, but 32 could go into 200. I don't know, 32 times 10 would be 100, so maybe 6 or 7. Let's try 6. 6 times 2 is 12, carry the 1. 6 times 3 is 18, plus 1 is 19. Yeah, it couldn't go in another time, so it can go in 6 times. That was 192. 200 minus 192 is 8. Bring down the 0. 32 can go into 80, probably twice, because 32 times 2 would be 64. And it becomes a 7, not a 2. So 10 minus 4 is 6. 7 minus 6 is 1. Bring down the 0. How many times could 32 go into 160? Well, we have here 32 times 6 was 192. So 6 was too many. Let's try 5. 5 times 2 is 10. Carry the 1. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 1 is 60. So it can go in exactly 5 times. And our quotient is 625. So we got 20,000 divided by 32 was equal to 625. So it wants us to check our work with a calculator. So we can check it by doing 625 times 32, and we should get 20,000. Or you could just do 20,000 divided by 32. Yeah, so we got 625. Let's also do 625 times 32 is equal to 20,000. So then our original problem, that was 2,000 divided by 3 and 2/10 is also equal to 625. And 625 times 3 and 2/10 would be equal to 2,000. Number 5. 3,581 and 9/10 divided by 4 and 9/10. So in order to make this a whole number, the divisor, we need to move 1 power of 10. So we're going to multiply it by 10. If I multiply that by 10, I get 35,819 divided by 49. So let's go ahead and divide. So 49 can't go into 3 or 35, but it could go into 358. Let's try 7 times. 7 times 9 is 63. 7 times 4 is 28. Plus 6 is 34. So 343. It couldn't go in another time. That would be too big. 358. So it can go in 7 times. And we subtract. 8 minus 3 is 5. 5 minus 4 is 1. Bring down the 1. How many times can 49 go into 151? Well, I know 50 times 3 would be 150, so 49 times 3. 4 times 3 is 12, plus 1 is 14, is 147. So it can go in 3 times. 11 minus 7 is 4. 4 minus 4 is 0. 1 minus 1 is 0. So bring down the 9. How many times can 49 go into 49? Once. So our quotient is 731. We did 35,819 divided by 49 was equal to 731. And we can check that by doing 35,819 divided by 49. Yep, is equal to 731. So we can also do the multiplication and say 731 times 49 would be equal to 35,819. But then let's get back to what the actual problem was. So it was 3,581 and 9/10 divided by 4 and 9/10, and that would be equal to 731. So 731 times 4 and 9/10 would be equal to 3,581 and 9/10. Number 6. 893 and 76/100 divided by 21/100. So in order to make this a whole number divisor, we need to multiply by 2 powers of 10 or 100. So when I multiply 893 and 76/100 times 100, move it 2 places, we get 89,376 divided by 21. So 21 can't go into 8, but it could go into 89, probably through 4 times. 21 times 4 would be 84. Bring down the 3. 21 can go into 53 twice, because 21 times 2 is 42. We get 11. Bring down the 7. 21 could go into 117, probably 5, maybe 6 times. Let's try 5. 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 2 is 10. 105. So another one would be too big. We subtract, get 12, bring down the 6. Let's try 21 times 6. 6 times 1 is 6, 6 times 2 is 12, 126. So it can go in 6 times. We get 4,256. So 89,376 divided by 21 was equal to 4,256. Let's check that. $4,256. Then I'm going to skip the multiplication part, and I'm just going to go back to the original problem. So it was 893 76 hundredths divided by 21 hundredths is also 4,256. And number 7, 6 and 194 thousandths divided by 326 thousandths. Okay, we need to make this a whole number divisor, which means I need to move it 3 places, or 3 powers of 10, which is 1,000. So we get 326, and this becomes, move this 3 places, 6,194. So 6,194 divided by 326. So 326 can't go into 6 or 61. Could go into 619, maybe twice. Let's try 2. I think it's going to be too big. Yeah, 652. So it can only go in 1 time. (11 minus 2 is 9. 5 minus 3 is 2. Bring down the 4. So how many times could 326 go into 2,934? So this time I think it's going to be closer to like 8 or 9 times. Let's try 8 times. 8 times 6 is 48. Carry the 4. 8 times 2 is 16, plus 4 is 20. Carry the 2. 8 times 3 is 24, plus 2 is 26. So let's add another 326 on there just to make sure. 8 plus 6 is 14. Carry the 1. 3, 9, 2. 2,000. Oh, so it goes in. We had 8 times, and then we added another one. So this makes it 9 times. So our quotient is 19. 6,194 divided by 326 is 19. Let's check that. Yep. So then our original problem, which was 6 and 194 thousandths divided by 326 thousandths, is also equal to 19. Example 3. A plane travels 3,625 and 26 hundredths miles in 6 and 9/10 hours. What is the plane's unit rate? Represent this situation with a fraction. So our fraction is just going to be the miles divided by the hours. So we have 3,625 and 26 hundredths over 6 and 9/10. Represent this situation using the same units. So we want to have it either in like tenths or hundredths. So I'm going to go ahead and use this because the divisor is already in tenths. So I'm just going to change this to be in tenths. So I'm going to change this to 36,252 and 6/10. Should have written it down here. So 36,252 and 6/10 divided by, this would just be 69/10. So let's estimate the quotient. So we need to round these to some numbers that we can easily divide by. So let's see, 36,252. I need to get 36, and maybe I'm going to change this into either 6 or 7, 60 or 70. Let's see, I can do 35 divided by 7. So let's make it 35,000 divided by 70. And that would be equal to, let's see, 35 divided by 7 is 5. These two zeros will cancel out and we'll have 2 left, so 500. So my estimate's 500. Express the divisor as a whole number. So this is what we were just doing. We have 3,625 and 26 hundredths over 6 and 9 tenths. So in order to make this a whole number, I need to move it 1 power of 10. I'm going to multiply by 10 over 10. So we get 69, and 3,000, this would move 1 place. So we get 36,000 252 and 6 tenths divided by 69. Use the division algorithm to find the quotient. Okay, so now this one's a little bit different because there's still a decimal point in the problem, but that's okay. We learned how to do this in 5th grade. So 36,252 and 6 tenths divided by 69. All we have to do with this decimal point is move it straight up. And the last step that we have to do involving the decimal point is just make sure that we keep our digits lined up in the right place values. Other than that, it's just a normal division problem. So 69 can't go into 3, it can't go into 36, but it could go into 362. Let's try, we already know our estimate's 500, so I'm going to try like 5, 4, 5, or 6. Let's try 5. 9 times 5 is 45, carry the 4. 5 times 6 is 30, plus 4 would be 34, 345. Yep, another one would be too big. Okay, gotta borrow. 12 minus 5 is 7, 5 minus 4 is 1. Bring down the 5. How many times can 69 go into 175? Probably twice. Yeah, another one would be too big. So 138. Need to borrow. 15 minus 8 is 7. 6 minus 3 is 3. 37. Bring down the 2. How many times can 69 go into 372? We already know times 5 was 345. Another one would be too big. So I'm going to do 5. This is why it's important not to erase your work, because problems that you did earlier can come back and help you. 12 minus 5 is 7. 6 minus 4 is 2. Bring down the 6. How many times can 69 go into 276? Well, times 5 was 345, so maybe 4 times. 4 times 9 is 36. Carry the 3. 4 times 6 is 24, plus 3 is 27. So 276, 4 times. So we get 525 and 4 tenths. Use multiplication to check your work. So to check our work, we would do 525 and 4 tenths times 69, and we should get the 36,252 and 6 tenths. Yep, 36,252 and 6 tenths.